Good morning and welcome back to the Weekend Gardener. It's the 14th of February, so happy Valentine's Day to everyone out there. And it's currently -1 down at the plot. So I'm not going to be hanging around too much. I've got plenty of work to get done. I want to get the last raised bed in and then start clearing out the paths, ready to get them sorted out. So I'm not going to be hanging around today. I'm just going to come down, focus on what I need to do to keep warm and hopefully get everything finished up. So I'm going to have a quick cup of tea and get started. That's the last bed in. All I've got to do is cut the corner support posts down, line it with the damp-proof membrane to protect the wood a little bit, and then I can get it filled in, and then I can make a start on sorting out these paths. And Jenny, we all know how much fun you have sorting out paths, so do you fancy popping up and sorting mine out? I very much doubt it. Welcome back. It looks like we've had February's one and only dry day, so it's back to 2 more weeks of rain. But at the end of last year, I saved some lupin seeds, and they've just been sat in a seed tray in the polytunnel. And I think the condensation, or maybe there's a small leak, has got the tray wet, and some of them have started to germinate on their own. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to empty all the seeds out of the pods, and I'm going to put them in a little tray of compost and hope that they grow away. I'll show you what's happened, and then I can get them all sorted. This is a tray that I've left the seeds in, the seed pods, sorry. As you can see, it's starting to germinate. There's tiny little bit of moisture in the tray, but that's enough. So yesterday, I just spread some rough compost on top and just dropped some more seeds in. There was a couple that had already germinated. I'm going to sprinkle some sieve compost over the top. And then this morning, this is just some soil from one of the beds, sieved and mixed in with some sand. It was going to be for my carrot box, but I'm just going to put the lupin seeds in and see how we go. I've got quite a few already, probably a couple of hundred in there and a couple more to go, so we're going to have lots of lupins this year. If all of these germinate, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with 100 lupin plants, but that's a nice problem to have. What I've done is, instead of just sowing them straight into a tray, I've put them into individual seed modules, and each one of these has got roughly 2 seeds in, and I'll just pick out the strongest one. I've covered over the tray that I did yesterday with some freshly sieved compost, and these are all the ones that were in the bottom of the tray that had already germinated, so I've just popped them in. So hopefully they'll be growing away soon. Just going to put a cover over them all, give them a little bit of warmth, and then come back next week and check how we're getting on. The rain's eased off a little bit. It's still raining, but it's not as heavy as it was. But I just wanted to show you the last of the beds that I got in yesterday. So that's all built up. Should be fairly sturdy. And I did make a little bit of a start on sorting out the paths. I didn't get very far yesterday. I've still got all this section along here to go, up the centre. I've got these bits of wood. I'm going to strip them down and get them inside the polytunnel to dry off a little bit. But I think we're finally starting to subside to a little bit of flooding. The paths are starting to disappear underwater. So I'm just going to put all these tools away, and then I'm going to sieve a little bit more compost in the polytunnel for the rest of the day, for another hour or so. And I'm going to go home because I'm starting to get cold and wet. One of the other plot holders had a 2-ton delivery of compost, and he'd used all that he needed, so he said I could have a couple of barrows full that were left. So I've just topped up this long bed here inside the polytunnel. There's probably about 1 inch all the way along, so that should rot in nicely over the spring. And on the other side, I've just tied it up a little bit, raked it over, got rid of some of the stones. So I might be ordering myself a little bit of compost so I can fill the rest of this polytunnel up, do the greenhouse, and put 1 inch or so on all the beds. But it's looking a lot neater. Just still need to get rid of all this wood. And the lupins are doing okay. They haven't germinated yet. I mean, I've been checking every 3 minutes, but nothing yet. I've also managed to sustain an injury. I bent down to pick something off the ground and headbutted a plank of wood. But I think I'll be all right. I'll pull through. I've had worse. So that's all I've got time for this week. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again next time.